Hi everybody, this is Nick from Newegg Game Crate here in the HTC Vive, and we're trying out Google Earth VR. This just came out yesterday. It's pretty amazing. It's all of Google Earth's data, which is like 3D models of a large portion of the Earth's surface, especially like the really inhabited places in North America, Europe, some places in Asia. And what they do is they take a lot of 45-degree camera angle footage from helicopters they get from governments in different places, and they turn it into this 3D models that you can view and move around and interact with. This is Google HQ. This is what it would look like if you were a giant. We can zoom in, move around, we can drag it. Okay, you can see, I don't know if you guys are getting this sensation just watching the video. This kind of drag effect, there's a little bit of motion sickness because it's moving in your peripheral. There's actually a setting. By default, comfort mode is on, and then it does this. It grays out the corners and actually makes an enormous difference in terms of whether you get motion sick. This I can do all day and not be sick. But it looks better for the video to have that off, so I'm willing to make the sacrifice and get a little sick. So yeah, this is Google HQ. We can zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, see the Bay Area, check things out, stomp around as some kind of giant kaiju, go around, drag, move. They have a bunch of featured places where you can go. So let's check out the Hollywood sign. You'll be able to see some of the rendering here because this is a pretty intensive thing. So you see all this rendering as stuff is filling in. We're running on the Acer Predator G1 desktop. It has a 1080 graphics card in it, and we're still getting this kind of rendering. At home, I tried it on an AMD R9 390. It was a little bit worse. So, but still, it's pretty amazing if you think about what this is doing. Like, this is 3D models of large portions of the world generated for you to interact with, move around with, zoom out, fly around. Where's downtown LA from here? I'm trying to get my bearings. I think it's over here. Is this what we want? Yeah. See, you just click and drag with the Vive controller and you're like kind of Spider-Manning your way through the world. Zooming down here. There's a limit to how small it lets you get by default. I think it's about this. Oh no, I have the setting off. Allow human scale. Okay, we have that on. So they have a limit to how small you're supposed to be able to get, because once you get really down in here, it's some kind of weird like post-apocalyptic all jaggy. I was asking earlier if anybody had seen the TV movie The Langoliers based on the Stephen King short story. There's probably like 5 people out there seeing this video and you're like, yeah, it is like The Langoliers. But you know, for everybody else, I'm just some weirdo, whatever, that's fine. Really what they're pitching is like this kind of scale, right? This kind of, I'm playing with blocks, I'm a kid kicking stuff over. None of it's destructible yet, but if they add a few little features to this, this could be a pretty amazing, like, easy to gamify experience. If you're familiar at all with GeoGuessr Online, which is a free game that like drops you into a place on Google Street View and you have to try to guess where you are in the world, like if they did something similar with this in VR, that would be pretty incredible. Let's go to a different place while I keep rambling on. Let's go to Yosemite. It's tooling around California. Oh, that looks pretty great. That is pretty amazing. Yeah, this just came out yesterday. It's currently only for the HTC Vive, but we gotta imagine it's gonna roll out on other platforms. But because it is so hardware intensive, I don't think you would expect it to be on any kind of like mobile VR platform like the Gear or you know, when Google eventually releases their Daydream headset. I don't know if that would be powerful enough to run this, but it's, you know, it's pretty incredible. It really gives you a sense of place. People talk about VR tourism all the time, and there are different, you know, apps that you can get and you can explore different areas, but just out of nowhere, Google dropped this thing for free, just using all of their data they already have and letting you explore like huge portions of the world. If you are a little bit motion sick, you want to make sure you have that comfort mode on if you're susceptible to that. This part also, when I'm going to tilt the Earth up, this is the part that makes me the most a little queasy. Nothing in this is bad. Even if you're sensitive to motion sickness, you'll be okay. But this is the part when you click this button here, I would recommend closing your eyes for, because it tilts the world up like this and spins it around. But now what we're in is basically a map of the world. So we can zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, right? It's nighttime. Where do we want to go? Let's cross the ocean. Let's go to Italy. Maybe we can find Rome. It's one of the featured places, but let's see if we can find anything interesting in Rome on our own. So you zoom in to a certain degree. What are we looking for? Pantheon, that's something cool, right? I have not been, so I'm just going on my civilization knowledge. Whoa, all right, tilting down. Here's our Colosseum. This is one of the featured places, right? So you can see it's rendering. The trees never look exactly right, although these look pretty impressive. Definitely they're featured places. You can tell they've spent more time getting right. They have tours, they'll tour you through different like geographic and urban areas, cities, nature, Uluru or Ayers Rock. But yeah, this is pretty great. You also can control the sun. You can change what time of day it is, which is kind of just Google showing off, I think. You can make the sky look better than it ever looks in real life, which is pretty great. So here I am at the Colosseum at night. Let's try that human scale thing again. So if human scale is off, I think it limits me to how small I can get. Yeah, so it locks me here. This is how small I can get. All you do to do this is just press up or down on this pad. There's also dragging to rotate it. The controls are pretty simple. I think like anybody could really figure this out. But then yeah, if you turn on that allow human scale, you can really zoom down and get into this weird exposed jag. But this at night, this looks pretty great. Like this is a pretty impressive experience right here. Whoa. All right, so we're recording this with only one eyeball showing. That's how we're recording this through OBS. In a second, we're gonna show you how the display normally looks on your monitor screen. By default, it's gonna show both eyeballs. In the headset, it looks like normal VR. Everything feels 3D, everything feels real, but it doesn't spit out a typical game window for you to record from if you're gonna record OBS. But again, this did just come out yesterday. I imagine Google is gonna really flesh this out and roll out a lot of new experiences with it. All right, let's do one of these tours here. Let's see what touring deserts are like. Really, the stuff that looks best, I mean, this is pretty impressive. You want verticality. So if you go to cities that have a lot of flat areas, that don't have a lot of skyscrapers, it's not as cool. If you go to like flat land in the middle of Wyoming or something, it might not necessarily be that cool. So this is playing, the music you can hear is part of the game. Oh, it's touring in different areas. This be good for meditation. You know, get a sense of traveling around the world without ever leaving your home, right? That's the dream of VR. You gotta have good hardware though. Definitely the experience is a lot better if it's not constantly rendering and filling in the details. You want the highest quality hardware so it looks cool right out of the gate. You don't have to wait while it fills in all the jaggies and rough edges. You gotta pause that. Let's try out some cities around the world. Let's go to Paris and see what that's like. Ooh, yeah, you can see all the filling in details. I think this could be a really cool experience for people interested in, obviously, tourism, but things like geography. One thing I noticed when I was messing around with this last night is it gives you a really good sense of how cities are laid out. I know a bit about like city planning and that kind of stuff, definitely not an expert, but you know, you can see from above all these like roundabouts that they have in Paris. And if you compare it to other cities, especially cities in the United States, a lot of things are a lot more grid-like. Depends on when the city was based. Is it medieval or is it more modern when it was created? Definitely gives you that sense of being a kid, you know, playing with toys. You know, I'm the same height as the Eiffel Tower. You know, that's a pretty amazing experience. You can zoom out, click and drag across the world. Let's go to a place that doesn't fill in quite so well so you can see it's not everywhere in the entire world, that has this experience. Where was I yesterday? So if you go to a place where you can imagine they don't have such great details picked up, then you basically just get a flat view. So here we are in Cairo. It wasn't 3Ding for me last night. Yeah, you can see that the 3D effect doesn't apply. They don't know how high these buildings are. They don't have this scanned data. I mean, I imagine Google's goal is at some point they'll have all that, but this is a lot less of an impressive experience, right? This is just topographic, like hills and valleys and everything with some low resolution stuff laid on top of it. I mean, if you knew that was your car, that would still be a pretty, pretty cool thing, but this is not the place they want to show off. They want to show off these different areas. Let's go to Disney World. So next time your kids want to go to Disney World, just strap the Vive headset to them, knowing that none of these headsets are officially approved for children to use because of possible eye problems and all that stuff. But hey, you don't have to pay to go to Disney World, so maybe it's a good trade-off. Traveling down, is it called Main Street USA? I only know Disneyland. Is it Main Street USA in Florida? I think it is. Ooh, it looks weird. Oh gosh, kind of looks like a weird nightmare version of Main Street USA, but still fun, still cool. Going to the castle. The castle looks great. Just ignore all these, whatever these are. Demons and that sort of thing. Go to the castle. Wow. Let's zoom out. I wanna, whoop. Yeah, that looks great. This scale, like dollhouse scale, it really is a pretty incredible feeling. I definitely would give this a try if I was going to travel somewhere that I hadn't been before, because just like messing around with it like this, you get a sense of the place more than you would just looking at a flat map. You get a sense of where things are in relation to each other. Definitely get a sense of how big things are. Like, you can actually see, how big is this? How big is, I think this is Space Mountain, right? How big is this compared to the other rides and the other areas of Disneyland, or Disney World in this case? I went to Rio de Janeiro earlier, hung out with they have it set at sunset by default, which is pretty sweet. But Cristo Redentor, which I've been using a lot in Civilization 6, if you saw that video on the Game Crate channel. But yeah, I didn't really realize how small it was compared to the city. I thought it was bigger. And it was because I came here in VR that I got that sense of space and size and place. That's something that VR is really good at. If you've tried the blue VR, you get the blue whale swimming in front of you. Like instantly you get a sense of how big a blue whale is that you can read in a book about how big it is all day, and it just doesn't click the way it does now. Like, okay, I get how this is laid out. I get how Rio de Janeiro is laid out now. Obviously you still need to go there to get the real experience, but this is a better experience than I can really imagine having anywhere short of going to the city. And let's zoom all the way out again, back to Earth. Whoa. And there's a whole world to explore. You can do it like this too if you want, picking where you want to go, zooming around. It's basically just like you spin the globe and you pick where you want to go and then zoom in and see what that's like. All right, to wrap up here, we're gonna take a trip to Las Vegas. I don't think Vegas is one of their featured items, which I don't really understand why it isn't. So let's find it and then see what it looks like. Maybe it's not their best scanning. Zooming into Vegas. Seems like it should be really good for this, right? World market. This is I'm trying to get my bearings. Where is the strip? Oh, okay, it's down here. The Mirage. I mean, these little notes are very useful for this kind of thing. Pairs. We're gonna go to the Eiffel Tower again, even though we were just there. We'll see which one's better. The real one or the Las Vegas one? Whoa. Okay, I don't know why this isn't one of their featured ones. This is pretty great. You can even read the signs on Mandalay Bay and everything. You can check out which hotel has the best pools. It doesn't really have all that in the bottom. That's just some kind of visual quirk from their scanning. It's the Luxor over there. Good low price rooms at the Luxor if you're gonna visit Vegas. We'll be here in a couple months for CES. Everybody will be hanging out in Vegas. It's not as fun as a for fun Vegas trip, but it's still fun. It's Excalibur, that looks great. New York, riding the overpriced roller coaster. Whoa, do I still have human scale on? I think I do. Who needs to actually go to Vegas and lose money? This app is free as long as you have the Vive and the hardware to run it. Which, yeah, those are big caveats, but. All right, so yeah, let's hang out at Ross to end this video. So that is Google Earth VR. Like I said, it's a free download on Steam. If you have the HTC Vive, that's currently the only platform that can run it. If you need a Vive or if you need hardware to run it, check out Newegg's VR Central. That's newegg.com/VR for deals. We have a bunch of guides and other stuff written up there. And until next time, I'm just going to be exploring the world without leaving home. See ya.